Hey everyone, at the US Open on Saturday, I saw something that I think is best described in the framework of my personal day. First, I went to the store to shop for my mom because I'm here in Georgia helping her, and ran into somebody that I thought I knew from Taste of Atlanta, but I didn't, but we had a great conversation nonetheless. But what was weird was the racial weirdness. What I mean by that are people walking by who you could see them looking at her and passing by. And I'm thinking to myself, are these folks psychotic? And to paint the picture, it wasn't crowded, right? But she, yes, was admittedly a very attractive woman. But both of us were focused on talking to each other and not on them. And when I say racial weirdness, you probably think I mean exclusively somebody white. No. Fellow brother walked by and he tried to interrupt the conversation, and we were locked in on another subject. And, I didn't say anything to him, but it was clear by her actions that she was not going to break the conversation. Uh, so, come back, and on the news is the latest report from the Texas shooting. Well, when 30 people, between 30 or 20 people are injured, that's a mass shooting, even if and 10 are, I believe, well, 5 people lost their lives. Whatever the count, it was terrible news, and the suspect was caught. But we hear about this every single day. Apparently, there's a mass shooting, or has been, for every single day of this year, and we are going into September. Uh, so then, my mom recorded the match for me because I came back from shopping and also from the gym, and I watched it, and Coco was getting waxed, but my mom said you have to keep watching to the end, and so I did. And what I saw was a counterpoint to the day's events for me that made me cry, because it was an open act of pure goodness on the part of Naomi Osaka that I will never forget. And I hope if you've seen it or saw it or see it, you never forget it either. And I hope you don't try to, because it was a personal reminder to me of how much we've fallen in this society because of the millisecond by millisecond by millisecond expression of meanness in so many different ways, thanks to social media, that has quite literally changed us and changed everybody that has been born, put their face on a cell phone for the first 18 years of their life, and then were launched into the world as an adult when they turned 18. We have forgot how to connect with each other. So much so that the woman that I was talking to at the store had said, because I initiated the conversation with, hey, what are you the person that I met at Taste of Atlanta a few years ago? And at the end of our great conversation, she said, in a way as if to express surprise, thanks for saying something. Translation, a lot of people don't. Where we are in this society must be cause of concern if we react to what Naomi did to Coco with a worldwide expression of tears. It's not that it wasn't a poignant event, and it's not that it didn't deserve it, but the simple fact of the matter, folks, is we simply don't see enough of those acts expressed to us on a mass scale. Look at the context. We're talking about the news that started the day and dominated the day before this happened. Another mass shooting. But the Lord said, enough of this. I bring you Naomi Osaka. And a lot of people have said, well, and Naomi was influenced by what Serena Williams did with her. And I agree, but there is also an asterisk there, and I don't mean to take anything away from the greatest of all time. But Naomi Osaka had beaten Serena Williams. And the reason why Naomi was crying was because Serena had lost her temper with the judge in the perch up there, and Naomi was upset that she was, from her perception, some sort of instrument to Serena Williams' unhappiness, and that is why she cried. And Serena was very white to go over and comfort her. That's true. But it was a different set of circumstances. A very different set of circumstances, such that borderline Serena didn't have to do it, but it was really good she did. But in the case of Coco Gauff, Naomi could have simply let Coco run off, upset and crying, but didn't do that. And read the situation before it unfolded, which takes a special kind of person to do. And then asked her, hey, would you join me in my interview? This was something she set up. It wasn't ESPN or anyone else. This came strictly from Naomi Osaka. And they're friends. And Coco said yes. Well, she said no at first, but then she changed her mind. She was persuaded. And it was very beautiful. Because it's easy for some to forget that just because a person does an extraordinary physical thing doesn't mean they're not a 15-year-old. Coco Gauff, for all of her tennis exploits, is 15. And you can see that she's 15 when she misses a point, when the game doesn't quite go her way, and yet she's trying to dig herself out of her own hole and doesn't, and gets more frustrated. As at that point, you can see her quite literally transform from 15 years old in her expressions to 6 or 7 saying, I need help. She is every bit that person. And so what Naomi did was more than appropriate in retrospect. But a lot of people wouldn't have done it, which doesn't speak well about our society. We need, in this age of being mean to each other, to actively be nice. Even the media needs to contribute to that. The news that says when it bleeds, it leads should try, hey, when it cries, it flies. We have to work on changing society, because the reason why we're getting so many acts of meanness is because we piled meanness on each other. We don't pay people what they're worth. We don't pay women what they're worth. We take advantage of people in many different ways, be it racism or sexism. There are too many isms that are negative, that are with us on a daily basis, to be taken for granted. We have to start introducing a set of positive isms, like happyisms, and other isms that are positive that we should make up and then make and populate them into society. But I digress. Naomi Osaka started this. But it's up to us to finish it. I say one thing too. I was quite disappointed by a tweet that Daniel Kaplan of The Atlantic, formerly of the Sports Business Journal, left about Naomi Osaka and Coco Gauff and Marianne Hernandez, who interviewed her, and pointed out that Hernandez's husband represents Gauff, and that's why she threw or offered questions that Daniel considered softball. It was a 15-year-old crying. I couldn't believe that Daniel would be so insensitive and so mean, the kind of meanness I'm talking about, to simply issue that tweet. And he was appropriately pummeled by the Twitterverse. Daniel, you should have taken that tweet down. It doesn't speak the best of you. And remember something, you don't own your own media company either. You represent The Atlantic. But I'll tell you, if you did own your own media company and you had sponsors, you'd have lost them, and deservedly so. Subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube.